Republicans will need to hammer away at the younger generation in order to get their vote for 2016. But at this stage, it seems to many as if they're already missing the mark and still leaving behind the aura of a bunch of old guys with old thinking who don't get it. Scott Walker wants to change that, but is going about it in a rather interesting manner back home. Our guest is media director for Wisconsin College Republicans, also a junior majoring in political science and strategic communications at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Anthony Birch joins MidPoint. Anthony, thanks for being here today.
Ed, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Anthony, this is wild because you folks sent out a rather, and at least it was deemed as a cordial campus-wide email asking students, professors, and administrators to support a budget proposal by Scott Walker. Cuts to higher education were in it. Without having to go into some of the certain spellings of some of the words, I understand it was rather interesting what you got back.
Yeah, our purpose for sending the email was just to spark a dialogue on our campus about the budget proposal from the governor. We have been receiving a lot of emails from the chancellor, from our student government, ASM, telling us that we should go out and protest this budget proposal because, the cuts are going to end the university as we know it. And our email was just sent out. Our intent was to spark a discussion, a dialogue, and the responses we got, it was unfortunate because they were vulgar, they were hate-filled, and that's not what we were trying to go for. We think the university is a place where ideas should be battled out, and that's what we were trying to do, spark that discussion.
But the governor is looking to cut a tremendous amount of money. Let's play both sides of this issue right here. He wants to cut a lot of money, saying basically the state can't afford it, the budget has got to be changed. Meantime, you got a lot of students worrying, well, if you cut the budget, what's going to happen to my education?
Yeah, of course, and that's a completely validated question for everybody to have. The difference between the governor's proposal and, let's say, Jim Doyle, the Democratic governor who cut it by $250 million, is that tied with these cuts are the fact that the governor is proposing more autonomy for the UW system, where that's where this $300 million comes from. $300 million number comes from. It's not just him spinning the wheel saying how much are we going to cut from the system this year. With this autonomy plan, this is the money that the university can save. This is the money that the university, or this is the plan the university has asked for, an autonomy plan, and something that the chancellor back in 2011 and 2013 supported. And now you see a completely different tone coming from our administration.
Do you believe that if the budgets were cut at your university, that it would severely harm the level of education that you and the other students receive?
I don't see it. I think it's kind of a farce for the administration to think that there is nothing that they can't tighten up a little bit, that there's not a little bit of fat to trim. And the reality of it is that it's 2.5% of the system's operating budget. It's not 20%. It's not 50%, it's 2.5%. And I think that's something that the university can look at, the administration can look at, and this can help make the system, the UW system, more efficient and more effective for the taxpayers of Wisconsin and the students that attend here.
Anthony, is it fair to say that there's a lot of people, not only at your university, but others, who may have just gotten a little bit too comfortable over the years with this big fat contracts and a lot of this money sitting here, and basically they could just learn to get away with a little bit less?
I think so, and I'm not in that spot. I'm not in that situation. Like I said, the reality is it's 2.5%. I think if a state government agency thinks that it's operating at maximum efficiency, that they're kidding themselves. And every now and then, I was talking to someone who was previously on the Board of Regents. They say that the system needs somebody to squeeze a little bit to make sure we're getting the most out of it that we can. I think that's responsible for the taxpayers of the state. I think that's especially responsible for the students who are paying tuition to expect the most effective and the most efficient UW system that they can have.
I want to remind everybody that this is the College Republicans at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, and behind you it is plastered with the different placards for Scott Walker. 30 seconds I have left. Can I take that to mean that you specifically, at least you, are a backer of Scott Walker and believe he should be the next president?
I love Scott Walker. He's done great things in our state. He's a reason why we have courage to stand up on this campus and tell people why we support him. I think he brings a lot to the table, and I know we have a little delegation going out to CPAC in D.C. this weekend, and we're looking forward to hearing from him. That's definitely for sure.
Careful, Anthony. You didn't answer the question. Would you vote for him for president?
I would vote for him for governor of Wisconsin for the rest of my life.
But you're not so sure yet about president. You're going to leave your options open, aren't you?
Oh, it's early, Ed. We got to see what happens, right?
Ah, I like that a man who does not allow himself to be plunged into a corner. Awesome. Anthony Birch, thanks so much for joining us. I'm sure we'll touch base again. Good luck at CPAC.
Ed, thank you so much. Looking forward to talk soon. Bye.
Pleasure. Take care. Hey, it's all about making the catch and making the fat contract. Well, we're still talking about money. As college football players seek to impress the NFL, but it's how young this machine is getting into gear that forces some to be concerned. Next on MidPoint.